Hi and welcome back to the Money, Wine and Cheese Club. My name is Sarah and as usual, I'm here to talk to you about all things money, budgeting, personal finance. So today we are going to be talking about creating your own zero balance budget. Budgeting can feel overwhelming. Especially you can feel restricted, like you cannot spend your own money. You have things to pay and you don't want to pay them. I get you. But actually, if you change a little bit the way you look at your budget, you might just start liking it. And I know what I'm talking about. So instead of thinking of a budget as restrictive, for me, it's actually permission to spend, because I always allocate money for me to spend on whatever I want. And that's actually why I budget, so that I can keep an eye on categories I can control, so that I can save money there to spend money where I really want to spend it. So how can you create your own budget? Let's get into it. So first of all, let's get on the same page. What is a zero-based or zero-balance budget? It's a budget where you give every single dollar you earn a home. You tell it where to go. So what's the first thing you need to do? Well, the first thing is you need to list your income. Now, if you have one job, you get one paycheck every week, every other week, every month, however that works for you, that is your income. And you are going to start with your income. Now, if you are an entrepreneur, if you have side hustles, you're going to add up all the money from everywhere that comes into your household, and that is going to be your income. Now, what is very important here is that you work with your net income. And what is net income? It's the money you take home. It's the money that you get after tax. So if you have an employer, you are going to get your money without the taxes already. But if you work for yourself, if you are an entrepreneur, chances are you need to take taxes before you spend. So you will know the percentage. For me, it's 22% of what I earn. I know I'm going to need it for taxes. So that money needs to stay in its own, it has to have its own category, if you will. Okay. And then for my personal budget, I just use whatever I bring home, whatever I can spend. Okay, so step number 2. For number 2, we're going to list all our expenses. And in this category, we have 2 kinds of expenses. We have fixed ones and we have variable ones. So what would be a fixed expense? Mortgage or rent, utilities, groceries, food, car payment, insurance, whatever you have to pay, that you know you have to pay, that is a fixed category. Okay. Then you have your variables. Now, variables can be clothes, entertainment, whatever you know you're going to need at some point or have, but it's not a fixed amount or not even every single month. Okay. And what is important to think about when you think about your expenses is that we want to cover our bases first. So we really need to cover housing, food, utilities, and transportation. Okay. Because you will need transportation to go to work. You need food. You need a roof over your head, and you need lights, okay, and water. So these are just the non-negotiables. These are the ones you are going to account for first. These are the categories you are going to start with and put the money there straight away. And if you have no idea, for example, how much you spend on food, you guesstimate it and you just put an amount that you think is what you're kind of spending right now. And this is going to change, and it's okay. It should change. A budget is ever evolving. It's like life. It happens and, you have to go with it. So this is just so that you have an idea right now, because we have no history, if we've never budgeted before, what kind of amounts we should be putting there. But we can guesstimate it. Or we can just go back and see how much we spent last month and just or the last 2 weeks and start there. Okay? So next, number 3, we're going to give the rest of our money at home. And we are going to go into our variable expenses. For example, insurance, you probably pay it once a year, not every single month. So here, if you pay every single month, you can put it on a fixed expense category. If you pay it once a year and you want to create just like a little sinking fund because you know that eventually you are going to need that money to pay that insurance, you can start putting it in a category on the side. For example, only once a month instead of every paycheck, right? Whatever works for you. And then we're going to start with the needs, and insurance is a need, and then our wants. For example, kids going back to school and supplies, it's a need. Brand sneakers, it's a want. You might need sneakers, clothes, but how much money you're going to spend on that is going to make it a need or a want, if I make myself clear. So go through it like Netflix. It's a fixed expense, but it's actually a want, not a need. So, if you need to make a choice, then Netflix is probably the one that's going away because it's not something you absolutely need to live your life. Okay, so number 4, track and adjust. Now, it's important to be tracking all of this. It's important, and if you know me, if you've been here for a while, you know that I'm a very big proponent that you should have a money, wine, and cheese meet every single week. Because yes, we're talking about our money and we are being very intentional with it, so we're taking care of it. We're meeting once a week. Wine, because there's at the beginning it's gonna be a lot of whining. You're just gonna be not happy about budgeting. And cheese, cheese is just great. I love cheese. So yeah. But I understand that for a beginner, once a week might sound, overwhelming. You just don't want to talk about it all the time. I get it. At least once a month, go over your categories. See if you spent the money you had there. See if you needed to add some money during the month because you ran out. Restaurants are not food. They don't go on the grocery category. Restaurants, they are a want. So they don't even go on your need. Food is a need. A restaurant is a want. So go over all your categories, at least at the beginning. And this is really important because this is how you start to get excited about, tweaking here, tweaking there, saving here. So, save on that insurance and go for that coffee if that's what really makes you happy and brings you joy. Because this is not about sacrificing. This is not about not having a life. This is about creating the life you want to live. And I think that is really, really important. So don't let this be overwhelming. Also, don't do like somebody did and just start being paranoid about those 10 cents that, you spent and that were not in the budget, or the 10 cents that you needed to get from the grocery account to pay for that latte, No, don't go there, because we can get very excited about budgeting and just go to extremes, and that's not healthy either, because you start becoming stressed because you want that budget to work so much, the way you just did it the first time, and it's not going to happen. Life is going to happen. Things are going to change, and your budget is ever evolving. Just, it changes with your life, which is awesome, which is great, as it should, so don't get stressed about that. And the last step is create a buffer. Okay, so we've put our money into all the categories, into our fixed expenses. We have our wants and needs, our variables, and we still have $10 left. Yay, congratulations. Know that money is not free money that you're just going to spend no matter what or no matter where. Those $10, you are going to put them aside. You're not going to see them there just lying on your bank account, because that's what's going to create your get rich fund. That's what I call it. It's like a little emergency fund that you have there. Now, you already have some money aside. Awesome. Start saving to invest. Start saving for a down payment on a house. Start saving for a vacation. It doesn't matter, but give those $10 a home. Tell it where to go, because chances are if it just stays there in your bank account, it's going to go away. You're going to spend it and then you have nothing to show for it, and it wasn't even in your budget. So please give every single dollar a home. That's why this budget is amazing. So why am I so passionate about zero balance budget? Because you are a lot more intentional with your money when you are physically, actively putting it into different categories. And when you realize that you are spending $1,200 on food, you're going to think twice, and you're going, next time you go to the grocery store, and you start seeing where you can cut, because chances are we're wasting food. I mean, that's like the category that keeps me on my toes. I'm always trying to bring it down, because I see the waste that there is, and because I know how much I'm spending on groceries, it drives me a little bit insane. So that's the one that I just cannot control, have not yet controlled, but I'm working on it. I'm always working on it. And it's great, you have your own category. On my variables, sometimes I have $100 I can spend, some months I have 10. And it's okay, because I know what I can spend. For me, it's important that I do whatever I want with that money. If I want to buy $100 of coffees, I can. If I want to buy clothes, I can. If I want to save it, I can, but I don't. That's my spending money. I do not have to save it, because that's accounted for in other categories. So that's the beauty. I can just give it away. I can do whatever I want with it. I mean, I'm not going to need it for my home budget, for the budget that I already have, because everything is accounted for. And that's why I think for me it's important to have the freedom to do whatever I want with that money. Yes, sometimes it can be $200. Sometimes I save it from one month to the next, or if I don't spend it all, it rolls over to to my little stash, and I do whatever I want. So that's the beauty of a zero-based budget. I hope you consider giving it a chance, because it's really life-changing. It really is. Let me know how it goes for you. I do have some resources. I have some budgeting templates. I'll link them below that you can just grab. And yeah, I hope you make very good use of them, and let me know how it works for you. Was it easy? Was it hard? Did you get it right the first time? I'm just kidding. Nobody gets it right the first time or the 10th time. But it's fine. It's a learning process, and you are learning how to do it, which is awesome. The fact that you are already thinking about it, it's awesome. So, hey, I hope it goes really, really well. Thank you so much for being here. Please, if you like this content, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps get it out there. And I'll see you next time. Bye.